Okay, children, good morning, children. Today we are continuing with Hardy-Weinberg principle. Yesterday we discussed about Hardy-Weinberg principle. So, you know very well, I'm telling about the A gene. What is A gene? Come on, tell. What is A gene? A gene is the color determined gene. A gene is color determined gene in uh, in beetles. So there are, you know very well, dark gray dark gray colors are there, and another one is light gray is there. Because light gray colors are there. So now you can say like this: A A and A. Both are related to which one? Dark colors. Both are related to dark gray. Okay, children. Next one, what is called small a. You know very well, the beaters will show light gray, dark gray, and light gray. Now, what is called allele frequency? A allele frequency is what is called 0 point, nothing but A means nothing but P, is 0.3 and A, small a, allele frequency, come on, tell, the Q, it will be considered as Q 0.7, 0.3 and 0.7. So now here I am telling, observe very carefully, children. What I said, P plus Q is equal to 1. P plus Q is equal to 1. Okay, what is the Hardy-Weinberg equilibrium? So Hardy-Weinberg equilibrium we are going to discuss. What is the Hardy-Weinberg principle? Equilibrium, come on children, P square P plus Q whole square is equal to P square plus 2PQ plus Q square. So P square is equal to frequency of AA, and 2PQ is equal to frequency of AA, and Q square is equal to frequency of AA. So observe very carefully, children. Now P is equal to how much? 0.3. So Q is equal to how much? 0.7. Then P square means 0.3 square. 0.3 square. 0.3 square means 0.3 square. You know very well. 0.09 is equal to 9%. 2PQ is equal to what is called 2 into 2 into 0.3, 2 into 0.3, okay, what is called, and 0.7 is equal to, come on, how much? It will be 0.42, then it will be goes to 42%. Next, Q square is equal to what is called 0.7 whole square. So what is called 0.7 whole square in the sense it will be converted into 0.49, then it will be 49% A. Okay, children. Now count it. What is the total? 49 plus 42 plus 49 is equal to how much? 100. So it is only tell what is called P plus Q whole square is equal to 1 is equal to 100 equal. So like that the Hardy-Weinberg principle will give the what you called. So this is the what you called the frequency. What you called the frequency of the genotype. The genotype. The genotype. What you call frequencies of the parent. What you call parent. Okay, appears in the appears in the next generation. So what is the meaning of this total? In the sense, always there will be equilibrium in the genes. Always equilibrium in the genes. Stable allele will be transferred from one generation to another generation. That is only called Hardy-Weinberg equilibrium. Stable alleles from one generation to another generation. So what we discussed, dark gray, light gray, A gene is there. This is only decide the character of color. Now AA capital A dominant dark gray, small a light gray, A allele frequency 0.3, small a Q here P is equal to 0.3, A allele frequency Q 0.7, P plus Q is equal to 1, Hardy-Weinberg equilibrium, P plus Q whole square is equal to P square 2P Q square is equal to 1, A like that. If you consider total, you will get like this. So the genotype of frequency of parents appear in the next generation is, come on, 9, 42 and 49. What is the 9? You know very well. What is the 9? AA. What is the 42? AA. Come on. What is 49? AA. So this is the what you called frequency of the parents appears in the next generation. These are constant. These are constant. That is only Hardy-Weinberg principle. That is only called Hardy-Weinberg principle. So now, what are the assumptions? So from one generation to another generation, what you called the genes are stable, alleles are stable. That is only Hardy-Weinberg. Okay. Now, what are the assumptions we are discussing? What are those? Weinberg's assumptions include. Record assumptions include. So first one I am telling about no mutation. No mutation. So what is it? No mutation means no new allele. No new allele means no changes. No alleles are generated. Okay. No alleles are generated. This point you should have to remember. By mutation. Nor the genes get duplicated or deleted. So no problem for the Hardy-Weinberg principle. No mutations, no new allele generated by mutation. Nor the gene get duplicated or deleted. Next one, random mating. What we call random mating is there in the sense what will happen. Every organism gets chance to mate. Every organism chance to mate, and the mating is random. The mating is random with each other with no preferences for a particular what you call genotype. What is the meaning of this? Observe very carefully. Every organism chance to mate and the mating is random with each other with no preferences for a particular genotype. That's why it will not what you call affects the Hardy-Weinberg principle. Next, no gene flow. No gene flow. If gene flow is absent, nothing will happen. What is called neither individuals, neither individuals. Okay, neither individuals nor their gametes, nor their gametes, nor their gametes. Neither individuals nor their gametes enter immigrations. Next, or exit. What is called exit is called immigration, the population. Immigration, the population. So if no immigration means nothing will happen to the Hardy-Weinberg. No disturbance in the Hardy-Weinberg principle. Next, very large population size. Very large population size. Very large population size. What it is? This population should be infinite in size. Population should be what is called population should be infinite in size. What is called infinite, so there no problem. Infinite, okay, infinite in size. This point you should have to remember. Next, no natural selection. No natural selection. So this also, if natural selection not there, what will happen? All alleles are fit. All alleles are fit. All alleles are fit to survive. What you call fit to survive and reproduce. Okay. So this is the natural selection not there, means all alleles will be fit and survive. So if any of these assumptions, if any of these assumptions, okay, if any of these assumptions, okay, were not met, not met, then what will happen? The population, what will happen? The population will not be in Hardy, will not be in Hardy Weinberg principle. Hardy-Weinberg principle. So this point you should have to Hardy-Weinberg equilibrium. Otherwise, Hardy-Weinberg equilibrium. Okay. So when the evolution will be takes place, if the allele frequencies changes from one generation to another generation, only what will happen? Evolution will be takes place. Okay, children, observe very carefully what I am telling. Hardy-Weinberg principle assumptions we are discussing. Mutations not there means nothing will happen. Hardy-Weinberg principle will be, or equilibrium will be stable. How? See, no new allele are generated by mutation, nor the gene get duplicated or deleted, so no problem, stable. Once mutation is there means equilibrium will be disturbed. Next, random mating. Every organism change chance to mate, and the mating is random with each other, with no, this point you have to remember, with no preferences for a particular genotype. So no preferences means no change in the what you call mating, what you call new generations. No gene flow, neither individuals, immigrations or emigrations not there. The large stable population will be takes place. So very large population size, very large population should be infinite in size. No, okay, so infinite size also no problem to the Hardy-Weinberg principle will be equal, shows the equilibrium in stable. So random mating, no mutations, no genetic flow, very large populations, and article no natural selections are there, in the sense all alleles will be fit to survive and reproduce. So if any of these assumptions, if this one, any one of this, what you call no mutation, random mating, no gene flow, large population, no natural selection, any one of these assumptions were not met, then what will happen? The population will not be in Hardy-Weinberg equilibrium, not met. If anyone is not met, no Hardy-Weinberg equilibrium. So when the evolution will come, when the Hardy-Weinberg will be equilibrium disturbed, then evolution will come. See now, allele frequency changes from one generation to another generation, in the sense evolution happen. It will be form new generations. Okay, children. So these are not there in the sense. Okay, mutations not there, random mating not there, no gene flow, very large population, natural selection means Hardy-Weinberg principle will be stable. If any one is there, if any of these assumptions were not met, if not there in the sense, what will happen? Gene flow will be takes place, for example. So new immigrations, emigrations, so new genes will enter into the population and will changes the equilibrium. Or mutations are there. Gene flow, gene changes in the genes will create the new population. That is also disturb the Hardy-Weinberg principle. Like that, no is there in the sense good. But anyone is yes in the sense, what will happen? Then that one not met, the population will not be in Hardy-Weinberg equilibrium. So allele frequencies only changes from one generation to another generation leads to which one? Evolution. So this is about Hardy-Weinberg principle assumptions. What do you call Hardy-Weinberg principle assumptions? So next concept what are the next concept? The next concept is we are going to discuss about origin of man. Origin of man. It's a very, very important topic. Origin and evolution of man. Origin and evolution. Origin and evolution of man. This point is short. Origin and evolution of man. Mammals evolved in, very, very important point. Mammals evolved in the early Jurassic period. Early Jurassic period. About 210 millions. About 200 millions years ago. Okay, about 200 million years ago. Hominid, next point. You know, human related. Hominid evolution. Hominid evolution occurred. Okay, hominid evolution occurred in Asia. Okay, and Africa. Asia and Africa. Next, hominids proved that this point is not one. Hominids proved that human beings are what you called superior to other animals. Okay, other animals, superior to other animals, and efficient in what you called making tools and culture. Efficient in making tools and culture. So this is a very important. Next, tools and culture. The earliest fossil. So the earliest fossil. What is the earliest fossil? The earliest fossils of the prehistoric man. Who was the earliest fossils of prehistoric man? Come on, guess it. Ramapithecus. What you call Ramapithecus? Ramapithecus and Sivapithecus. Ramapithecus and Sivapithecus. Okay. 14 MYA. They survived in the 14 million years ago. And these are were derived from ape-like. So they derived from ape-like. They derived from ape-like. What do you call derived from ape-like? Very very important. What do you call ape-like? Dryopithecus. Dryopithecus. Okay, Dryopithecus. This one you have to remember. Dryopithecus. You should have to remember. Dryopithecus. Dryopithecus and Ramapithecus. Dryopithecus and Ramapithecus were hairy, and another important one is Ramapithecus or hairy. Hairy means total body completely covered with what you called hairy. Okay, so this one you should have to remember. And walked like gorillas. Walked like gorillas. They are walked like gorillas and chimpanzees. Chimpanzees. Okay, next point. Australopithecus. We called Australopithecus. Australopithecus lived in East. Okay, East African grasslands. East African grasslands. Okay, this point also you should have to remember. East African grasslands. Next, okay, East African grasslands. Who? Australopithecus. About which one? 5 MYA. 5 million years ago. Okay, was called these are called Australian. What are called? Australian ape. They will be called Australian ape man. Australian ape man. This point you have to remember. Australian ape man. So now it was about what are the characters? 1.5 meters. 1.5 meters tall with what you called bipedal locomotion, omnivorous. They will eat both omnivorous and what you called semi-erect. Next, what you call lived in caves. These points we should have to remember. Next, these all are which one? The low. Okay, they lived in the caves. Okay, these are related to which one? The Australopithecus. And some more points are there. Okay, what are those? Low forehead. First point. Next, brow ridges over the eyes. Next, protruding face. Okay, protruding face. Lack of chin. This point also you should have to remember. Lack of chin. Low brain capacity. What is the brain capacity? So 350. What do you call? 350 to what do you call? 450 cc. Okay, so these all are main important characters. So now we are going to What are those? Next, observe very carefully, children. Origin of evolution of man. Mammals evolved in the early Jurassic period. First bit. Okay, about 210 million years ago. Hominid evolution occurs. Hominid, human like that, occurs in Asia, and Africa. Hominids proved that human beings are superior. This point you have to remember. Superior to other animals and efficient in making tools and cultures. Efficient in making tools and culture. Earliest fossil of the prehistoric man were those Ramapithecus and Sivapithecus. Very important bits. Earliest prehistoric man. Ramapithecus in which million years ago? 14 million years ago. And they derived from ape-like Dryopithecus. Dryopithecus, Ramapithecus are hairy, walked like gorillas and chimpanzees. Then come to Australopithecus. They lived in the East African grasslands. What is called? East African grasslands. Okay, these are called, and which one? Last 5 million years ago. Which one? 5 million years ago. That's why these are called. These people are called Australian ape man. Australian ape man. Okay, you know very well Australian ape man. So he was about how much meters tall? 1.5 meters tall, with bipedal, two legs, locomotion, bipedal locomotion, omnivorous, will eat the flesh and veg materials, semi-erect, not completely tall, bent somewhat, lived in caves, low forehead, okay, brow ridges over the eyes, protruding face, lack of chin, low brain capacity, and the brain capacity much 350 to 450 C. Such kind of characters are there in those. Later we are going to, what are those? Australopithecus. So Australopithecus you have to observe very carefully. So what are the Australopithecus lived in? East African grasslands. Next important thing is he was about 1.5 meters tall with bipedal locomotion, omnivorous, semi-erect, and lived in caves. Low forehead. What is called? Low forehead. Next what? No forehead. Brow ridges over the eyes. Ridges are there over the eyes. Protruding. What is called? Protruding. Okay. Protruding face. Face is protruded. And lack of chin. Chin is not there. No brain capacity. Okay, like this. These all are distinct. What you called? Next important thing is some more characters are there. What are the some more characters we are going to discuss? So lack of chin, brain size is 350 to 450 cc, and human-like dentination. What you called? Human-like dentination. Human-like dentination means dentination, thecodont, diphyodont, like that. Human-like dentination. And another important one, lumbar curve. Lumbar curve is there. Lumbar curve is there. Curve is lumbar curve in the vertebral column. The vertebral column. Very well, vertebral column. So like this lumbar curve is there, in the sense there is main features are the distinct features. Okay, is a distinct features. Whose Australopithecus is a distinct features. This point you should have to remember. Australopithecus. Next come to Homo habilis. Homo habilis. What are those? Homo habilis. How many? 2 MYA. What is called? 2 million years ago. Who? Homo habilis. Homo habilis are there. So they are 2 million years ago they lived. 2 million years ago they lived. Their brain capacity was the brain capacity. Come on, you tell. 200, and the brain capacity is 650 to 800 cc. Okay, and was probably what you called vegetarian. Okay, vegetarian. The vegetarian. They help again bipedal locomotion. What you called bipedal locomotion. Bipedal locomotion and used tools. Okay, tools made of chipped stones. What you called chipped stones. Okay, children. So now Homo habilis. What are the Homo habilis? 2 million years ago they lived. The brain capacity is 650 to 800 cc. They are vegetarian. They are bipedal locomotion. Tools they are made of chipped stones. This one you have to chipped stones. So these are the characters of Homo habilis. What are the characters of Australopithecus? They are 1.5 meters tall, bipedal locomotion, omnivorous, okay, protruding face, lack of chin, 350 to 450 brain cells. But here Homo habilis 650 to 800 cc. Okay, children, it will be Homo erectus. We will discuss in the tomorrow's class. Tomorrow what we will discuss? Homo erectus we will discuss. Okay, children, Homo erectus we will be discussed in the next class. Thank you, children.